I went a little. My bad. All right. So, Kevin,
Yes.
this is the first time you've been on our show since with me as the host. I'm about to put you in an incredibly complicated position.
Please.
Take the money out of the equation. Take the contract out of the equation. Everything else out of the equation. I'm letting you have either Dak Prescott or Jordan Love as your quarterback for the next 5 years. Which one do you want?
Not complicated. It's Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Not complicated at all.
You've seen enough in 11 games or whatever it was that he was last season, starting October, whatever. I mean, we did the numbers last week. You've seen enough to say right now you would rather have him for the next 5 years.
Yep. First of all, they were on the same field just a few months ago, and we saw that head-to-head. The highs that Jordan Love has hit, Dak Prescott, although he's been a borderline top 10 quarterback for most of his career, Dak Prescott has never hit those highs. He was never the best quarterback in football over an 11-week stretch. He was never this special. I think we're seeing greatness, frankly, unfold in front of us. Now it's being helped by Matt LaFleur, who's a great coach. He's better than any coach that Dak Prescott has ever had, and at this rate ever will have, just because how Jerry Jones operates his franchise. And just so everybody knows, like when we're watching these Jerry Jones press conferences, this is not normal in the NFL. No other team does this. Nobody has training camp where you're going around and one owner, Stephen Jones, might be having a press conference, Jerry's having a press conference on the other side. There's CSI actors all over the sideline, and everybody has to talk to them. They don't run like a normal franchise. They create distractions. So any gap that Dak could close is being harmed by the Dallas Cowboys and the way they operate the franchise. So Jordan Love is better on it in a talent vacuum, and he's not being helped by his franchise.
Yeah, I'm not willing to go there yet. I'm more of I need to see a consistent sample size. Dak has been consistent. He's been a big reason why the Dallas Cowboys have won 12 games the last 3 years. And if you ask anybody, like, you will take that. If I just told you blindly, I'm going to give you 12 wins a year with this quarterback, and he's going to play at a high level. You're going to deal with your down parts of it, but he's going to give you 12 games and you're guaranteed to go to the playoffs. I still stand by that because it's fair. We take the playoff sample size and we say Dak Prescott is absolutely out of the conversation with being a top-tier quarterback. If Dak Prescott is not playing for the Dallas Cowboys over the last 5 years, they are irrelevant. They are absolutely irrelevant unless they got one of these young guys that was going to ascend and go crazy. So it's always a hard conversation. And Kev, I understand where you're coming from. I have this conversation with Cowboy fans all the time when we start talking about that. Because you see the highs and lows throughout the season. Playoffs come, everybody gets scared and gets shook. I've seen Dak Prescott play at a top 5 quarterback level consistently over a number of weeks. I think it's a lot of it has to do with the Dallas Cowboys franchise and organization. A lot of it has to do with playing that position for that franchise gets you judged tremendously harshly than anybody else in the NFL.
Oh, get out of here with this nonsense. People aren't judging Dak Prescott at a higher level because he's a Dallas Cowboy. Get out of here with that nonsense. Oh, my God. And the argument that the Cowboys would be irrelevant if it wasn't for Dak Prescott. First off, the backup quarterback went, like 6-1 or something, right? Cooper Rush or whatever his name is. So, like, what you're saying is wrong, okay? And even before Dak stepped in, when you had Romo, you were just as good and just as relevant. So this idea that they would not be relevant is insane. They literally they ripped off a whole bunch of wins with a backup quarterback and were just as relevant, where Jerry Jones even had to make some sort of joke or comment about a quarterback controversy. So let's just shut that down right there. Not to mention, if we just want to take out that one sample size, the backup experience, stuff like that, majority of teams are going to suffer if you take away their quarterback. Like, what are we talking about? Let's just start low. Who would the Buccaneers be without Baker? No one. Let's just rip Tua out. Even if you don't want to say that Tua's not a great quarterback, doesn't matter. Take Tua out, the Dolphins are not making the playoffs. Take Josh Allen away from the Bills are irrelevant. The Chiefs, Mahomes, the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts, like, what are we talking about? Obviously, Dak Prescott is a good enough quarterback where if you remove him, the team isn't going to be as good. That's obvious. But like, as I've already pointed out, they've won without Dak for years, right? Tony Romo was not this amazing top-level quarterback. So this idea that the Cowboys would just be completely irrelevant is insane to me. That's insane. You're not dealing with a franchise that is kind of like the Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where if you remove a quarterback, like, nobody will be talking about them. They're just completely irrelevant, and they have no chance of getting talent or another quarterback, and they're just going to be bad for years to come because that's what their history has shown to be. That's not who the Dallas Cowboys are. So it just is an absurd thing. I totally agree that Jordan Love is a better quarterback. I don't need to see any more games. I've seen the important games. I've seen the highest highs. Yes, the only question mark about Jordan Love is, can he do this consistently? But the truth is, what he can do consistently is already Dak's average. Let's not act like Dak is consistently a great top-level quarterback. Let's just stop with that nonsense, because it's just not accurate. Okay, so many of his numbers are beefed up by either blowout wins, him, getting blown out, and so he's just putting up easy prevent defense numbers, right? And again, look no further than the Packers versus the Cowboys playoff games. Look at that record. Look at those stats. Look at Dak's box score. They're juiced up, even though we know for a fact Dak played awful and was not even close to being in that game. And yet, if you just looked at those numbers, you would say, whoa, look how many yards he threw for. Look at all his touchdowns. He was, he wasn't he had some, issues, but come on. So we know that numbers lie all the time. So let's just stop with that. It's just very obvious. Just watch the season of the Packers, the whole season, and pick any season of the Dallas Cowboys with Dak, any season you want, and compare. And you will see a quarterback that is in command, a quarterback who can truly put a team on his back and go out and win. You will see a quarterback who is absolutely fearless of the moment, a quarterback who is ready to win and start his journey to being an elite top quarterback in the NFL. And the only quarterback that you could say that about is Jordan Love. It's really that cut and dry. I'm over the whole short window sample size, because this was not a flash in the pan. They didn't just capture lightning in the bottle with Jordan Love for a handful of games. That's not his story. He's been in the NFL now for a few years, technically, right? Obviously, he wasn't starting. He's in a great franchise with a great coach. I don't need to see how great he's going to be with someone that's not Matt LaFleur, because Matt LaFleur is his head coach. People will be like, oh, Matt LaFleur has a big reason why Jordan Love. Okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It doesn't matter. He's attached to Matt LaFleur. As long as Matt LaFleur doesn't get some terminal diagnosis, LaFleur is going to be the head coach for the Packers. So all I do need to know is, will Jordan Love be elite with Matt LaFleur? That's all I need to know. And if if Matt LaFleur is a huge reason for that, awesome, great. Happy I have him as if I'm the Packers, great. I don't need to know, well, what would Jordan Love look like if he didn't have Matt LaFleur? Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. I don't care. We're not talking about legacy building right now. We're not talking about what's his GOAT resume. Well, he's never won without Matt LaFleur. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I got Matt LaFleur as my head coach. Who do I want as my quarterback? Jordan Love, not Dak Prescott. It's that simple. And if you have Mike McCarthy as your coach, who would you want as a quarterback? The answer is going to be Jordan Love, because Jordan Love can fundamentally do more than Dak Prescott. It's that simple. It's that cut and dry. It's that black and white. It really, really is. Yes. And what an absurd example that he used. He goes, if you ask anyone, a blind resume, if your quarterback can get you 12 wins and play great, would you take it? Obviously, what are we talking about? What an insane... But an insane, hypothetical to throw. Would you take a quarterback that can win 12 wins and put up good numbers? Yeah, I guess so. What? That's not how we do things here. It just doesn't even make sense. I don't even know why bring it up. Football is way more complex than that, than just saying, well, would you take a quarterback with 12 wins? Okay, great. There you go. You got him now. So it's just absurd. But like I said, we can do it from either side. Look at it as Mike McCarthy is your head coach or Matt LaFleur is your head coach. And you look at these quarterbacks, you know what the potential is. You see what the other quarterback can do versus what the other quarterback has already done. Who would you pick? The answer is going to be Jordan Love, without a doubt. Now, if you had a disaster franchise, you're the Carolina Panthers or something, and you are just completely in a free-for-all. The Cleveland Browns before kind of Stefanski and Baker Mayfield, where they were able to somewhat stabilize that, and you just needed a quarterback who without a doubt, you're going to get consistent play. You probably will not win a Super Bowl, but you just need fundamental, consistent play and a great person to represent your team and talk at the mic and just be a great a great ambassador for your team, then yeah, maybe you take Dak. You know, it's like Dak is a very solid, safe, secure bet that you know he will put your franchise in a positive light and represent you in the exact way that you would want him to be. You know, he's going to be great in the locker room. Guys, for the most part, are really going to like him. He'll be able to talk to the media well, and he's a guy. You know, it's like the stereotypical example, the guy that you would want to marry your daughter or whatever, right? Like, and so that's great, and that is important because not all quarterbacks have that ability to do that. And so that is something that Dak absolutely has going for him. And so maybe if you are like the Carolina Panthers, you don't want to take a chance, which I think it's a small chance, on Jordan Love. And you're like, okay, you know what? Let's get Dak. We need to stabilize this. We need to get some weapons. We need to get our fans just to be like somewhat excited. But if you need your franchise to get to the next level, if you need a quarterback to get you to that next level, think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before Tom Brady, before they were able to get Tom Brady. It's like, we need the Jordan Love. We need that guy who can really be dynamic, who can be not only consistent, but also be next level, that next gear. We're talking about competing with quarterbacks like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, like a Joe Burrow. Being average is not good enough right now. Unless our roster was juiced up, unless we had this elite top level roster, it's like we need a quarterback to bring us to that next level. And the truth is, the Packers right now, they're going to be on a path to build a dynasty. Like, that is what they are doing. They will have the potential to really be a dominant team for years to come. And that is with Jordan Love, and a huge reason because of Jordan Love. The Dallas Cowboys have been put in many positions to be dominant, and they were not there. Dak Prescott was not the difference maker. I'm not going to act like Dak Prescott has had amazing coaches or has had picture-perfect opportunities, but he was being put in positions to win, especially in the playoffs. He was put in positions to be the difference maker. Okay, even just those losses against the 49ers, he was in a position where if he was Magic, if he could dig deep and carry that team in that next level, even though McCarthy's maybe getting outcoached, even if the 49ers are just a better team, he was in a position where if he was truly the difference maker, he could be the difference maker. He was put in that position, and he didn't do it. Unfortunately for him, he just wasn't able to do it. And I believe Jordan Love can. It's really that simple. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Who would you pick? Straight up, Dak Prescott or Jordan Love? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.